Let's talk about Border Patrol apprehensions between ports of entry at the southwest border of terrorists.
And I have to say, it is pretty rich hearing the gentleman from Georgia express her concern about terrorism when she literally was selling defund the FBI t-shirts and hats on her website for $30 a piece. $30 for the shirts and another $30 for the hats. You don't get both for just the $30. The leading law enforcement agency tasked with combating terrorism in this country and keeping people safe, and she wants to defund it. So I am not going to take any lectures from her on securing this homeland from terror. And with that, I yield back.
That's Democratic Congressmember Seth Magaziner calling out Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Democrats again going on the offense and calling out MAGA Republicans for taking orders from Donald Trump to kill a bipartisan border deal being negotiated between Democrats and some of the remaining rational Republicans, the few that are remaining. Donald Trump wants to whine about the border, so he ordered his Speaker of the House, MAGA Mike Johnson, to kill any border bill, and that's what the MAGA Republicans are now doing. Let me show you this next clip. Here's Democratic Congressmember Rob Menendez talking about how MAGA Republicans will just do whatever their orange Jesus tells them to do. Play this clip.
And this impeachment's part of that. We have held zero, I repeat, zero full committee hearings dedicated to emergency preparedness, cyber threats, infrastructure protection, transportation security, Department of Homeland Security management, or information sharing and intelligence efforts. With the global dynamic that we have not lived up to our oversight obligation here on this committee because you all are obsessed with the border. Because you bend the knee to the orange Jesus, as you refer to him across the aisle. That's what this is about. And we have failed our jurisdiction on this committee. So I'm tired of being lectured. You know, I try to listen here. I try to be a team player. I really do. I try not to engage in the partisanship, but I've had it. I've listened to a lot of accusations here today. We are here on a sham impeachment hearing because of the partisanship of this committee, and enough is enough. Ms. Green asked the American people are listening. They are, and they're tired of the partisanship of this Republican majority that has failed to get things done. I yield back to the chair.
Here's Democratic Congressmember Jared Moskowitz. He's doing this interview actually with Republican Mike Lawler. As always, Congressmember Moskowitz spot on with his messaging. Play the clip.
Choosing not to, and that is a big part of the problem here.
Yeah, and Jake, by the way, the speaker said no because Donald Trump said no. The speaker is Donald Trump's no boy, okay, on this subject. Look, I'll give Republicans credit for a second. They have been highlighting the border for a long time, okay, and we were late to start addressing it. But now that we want to address it, now that we want to lower the amount of fentanyl coming in, now that we want to deal with non-documented folks, now that we want to deal with supposed terrorists potentially coming into the country, now the Republicans, controlled by one man, are saying, no, we need this for the next 10 months. We need more of it, in fact, for the next 10 months so that we can use it in an election. Both things are true here. This is why people hate Washington. Both things are true. The Biden administration and Democrats were slow. But now that we're here at the table, Republicans are like, no, let's walk away.
The question is, what is in the actual bill?
So
nobody has actually seen the bill.
The bill is dead. Donald Trump has said the bill is dead. The bill's dead.
The question to me is,
as Congressman Moskowitz just said, both can be true. Both can be true.
Here's Democratic Congressmember Eric Swalwell talking about how in the House of Representatives, there's not even members of Congress anymore when it comes to the Republican Party. They basically just sacrificed their job, and they now have a law firm. It's called Insurrection LLP. Play the clip.
This is doing the bidding of one individual because they have assembled a law firm here, Insurrection LLP, and they're working on behalf of one client, and that's the former president, Donald Trump. And they're here every day to carry out his petty grievances. And we heard him say, this border deal helps Joe Biden. So they need to take out the Secretary of Homeland Security so that
Mr. Chairman,
they can reduce...
Point of order. Move to strike the words insurrection LLP.
Would you like LLC?
Wait, are you talking about in the,
From,
what you just said?
yeah,
Mr. Chairman,
The gentleman is recognized.
are you recognizing Mr.?
I'm still trying to understand what he's asking.
I move to have the words taken down, insurrection LLC or P, couldn't understand the last letter.
You want to
what he-
strike what he, in his testimony just now?
Yes.
Okay.
This was an incredible moment where Congressmember Eric Swalwell had the clerk read an amendment that he was introducing. Take a listen to this amendment that Congressmember Swalwell introduced. Play the clip.
Partisan Republicans are seeking to impeach Secretary Mayorkas for the following reasons. 1, later this year, United States voters will choose a president for the next 4 years. The presumptive Republican nominee, Donald Trump, is a narcissistic, hateful liar who was found by a court of law to have raped and defamed at least one woman. He is currently facing 91 criminal charges for a wide variety of alleged offenses, including a felony conspiracy to defraud the United States. He was twice impeached by the House of Representatives, including for inciting a violent insurrection. He is currently working to foment discord and perhaps a civil war, encouraging Republican governors to order National Guardsmen to take up arms against the federal government. In a fair election, he will lose because the United States people prefer decent, honest civil servants like Joe Biden. Republicans are playing dirty political games, attempting to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas to distract from their own legal and electoral problems, score cheap political points, and appease their cult leader. 2, in the same election, United States voters will choose their representatives to Congress. Republicans are widely expected to lose control of the House of Representatives, in part because court rulings have overturned several gerrymandered maps and returned voting power to disenfranchised citizens. Voters are also witnessing the extent to which Republicans have failed to govern. As Republican members of the House of Representatives have spent far more time fighting with themselves over who should serve as Speaker than on any meaningful attempts to develop bipartisan solutions to problems facing our country. The House Republican majority has accomplished approximately nothing. As Republican Congressman Chip Roy put it, quote, "We have nothing. In my opinion, we have nothing to go out there and campaign on. It's embarrassing," end quote. As Republicans stare down the increasing likelihood of losing their grip on power, they are becoming more and more desperate, grasping at any opportunity available to potentially increase their poll numbers, even if it means pursuing an unconstitutional impeachment based on flimsy pretexts and dishonest twisting of the facts. 3.
Here, Marjorie Taylor Greene just yelling and saying, no matter what, we're going to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of Homeland Security. Play the clip.
This is not a policy debate. This is proof you can't lie about the numbers. No matter how much time you keep giving to Representative Goldman, he's not going to be able to spin it and change it for all of you. The facts are the facts. Secretary Mayorkas is breaking the law. We are going to impeach Secretary Mayorkas today on this committee. We don't care how long you go on. You can keep taking your 5 minutes and yielding back and forth and going to Goldman. Keep going. We're going to impeach him because he has broken the law. He has violated his oath of office. He is breaking federal immigration law. Americans are dying.
Right, at the exact same time that Secretary Mayorkas is negotiating a bipartisan border deal that's the toughest in generations, MAGA Republicans are trying to kill this bill for Donald Trump so Trump can whine about it as part of his campaigning and then complain that nothing is being done at the border when there's actually solutions to it that are tougher than ever. Here's Democratic Congressmember Dan Goldman. Play this clip.
When the Secretary and the administration has tried to use their limited authority to change policy to limit the number of people coming to the border, to streamline the process, to make it go through ports of entry, Republicans filed lawsuits to stop the administration from doing it. So again, The hypocrisy of you sitting here accusing Secretary Mayorkas of failing to enforce the law when you are going to court to prevent him from enforcing the law
I've used my time on this.
is hypocrisy at its height. You have created this situation, and now you want to have the second impeachment of a cabinet secretary ever. You let him do his job. You work with the Senate, your colleagues in the Senate, on the legislation needed, and then let's figure out how to address the border.
Gentleman's time is expired.
Here again is Democratic Congressmember Dan Goldman. Play the clip.
Now, I know this weekend I saw Chairman McCall on TV and others, and you're changing your tune now because you said the quiet part out loud that this is all about politics. And so now it's, oh no, the president can do it without legislation. Never mind that you've been calling for H.R. 2 this entire Congress. No, now it's he can do it himself. Well, he's tried to do it himself. He's tried. He's passed numerous policies that would have streamlined the asylum process through ports of entry where migrants are vetted, that would have presumptively made ineligible anyone trying to cross the border in between ports of entry, and would have done a number of different things to address the problems. Republicans went to court to sue him, to stop him from implementing the policies to address the border. So your own party is sabotaging and undermining this administration's efforts to address the border while you are trying to impeach him by saying that they're not addressing the border. The hypocrisy is the least of it. Your attack on the rule of law and our democracy is the worst of it. And you better be careful about the bed that you make. I yield back.
Democratic Congressmember Robert Garcia got in on the action of introducing some amendments, the same way we saw Congressmember Eric Swalwell. Take a look at the amendment introduced by Democratic Congressmember Garcia. Play the clip.
The clerk will read the amendment.
House Republicans' impeachment inquiry has been a political crusade to help them politically, aid in donor fundraising, and harm President Joe Biden. It has not been a serious impeachment investigation for, quote, treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors, end quote. The standard for impeachment under the Constitution. Republicans have pursued impeachment, which will do nothing to solve the challenges at the border. Instead of engaging in substantive bipartisan negotiations to develop meaningful solutions, Republicans have repeatedly revealed their motivations for obstructing border policy negotiations and impeaching Secretary Mayorkas through the following. 1. On April 18, 2023, the New York Times reported that Chairman Mark Green, before launching his impeachment investigation, promised campaign donors behind closed doors that he would impeach Secretary Mayorkas. Chairman Green reportedly said, quote, on April 19th, next week, get the popcorn. Alejandro Mayorkas comes before our committee, and it's going to be fun. That'll really be just the beginning for him, end quote. 2, on May 30th, 2023, speaking to reporters about her begrudging willingness to support a bipartisan debt ceiling bill, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene reportedly said, quote, if you have to eat a shit sandwich, you want to have the sides, okay? It makes it much better. So what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for some sides and some desserts, end quote. She then named the, quote, beautiful desert, end quote, she desired, stating, quote, somebody needs to be impeached, end quote. 3, on November 13, 2023, Axios reported that Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene sent a fundraising email supporting her impeachment resolution, asking supporters, quote, if you can afford to chip in, please do, end quote. 4, on January 3rd, 2024, Representative Troy Nehls told CNN he would oppose a bipartisan border negotiation, stating, quote, let me tell you, I'm not willing to do too damn much right now to help a Democrat and to help Joe Biden's approval rating.
Comer pile time. Here's MAGA Republican James Comer talking about how the reason that they weren't able to find any evidence on President Biden as part of their impeachment witch hunt is because their witnesses didn't remember the bad things. He says, "Hey, you get more embarrassing than this." Play the clip.
Hunter also in 2018, apparently texts revealed a deep distrust of Sherwin and his involvement in family affairs, and apparently owed Sherwin money. And Hunter, told his assistant that Sherwin whined that he owed him 30% of his income for 10 years. Then by 2019, the relationship deteriorated further. Did you get any information out of him regarding this?
No, all of the people that we brought in for depositions, they have a hard time remembering the bad things. But
I want to do a comparison here. First, let me show you Donald Trump at a press conference that he gave earlier, where Donald Trump was asked if he intends to use more money in addition to the $15 million that he's grifted off of supporters to pay for his own legal fees to try to satisfy the massive judgments against him. For example, the $83.3 million E. Jean Carroll civil judgment against him, where Donald Trump was found liable for further defaming his rape victim. And then Donald Trump tells the press at his press conference, he's like, "What are you talking about?" He claims that he won all of the cases when he lost. I mean, he really has some serious cognitive issues. Play this clip.
Do you plan to try to use campaign funds or PAC money to try to pay some of the penalties in the New York defamation and fraud cases?
I don't understand what?
Are you thinking of potentially trying to use campaign money to pay some of those penalties that you might incur?
What penalties?
In the New York fraud case, the defamation case.
I didn't do anything wrong. I mean, that's been proven as far as I'm concerned. And actually, we won in the Court of Appeals. You probably saw that. That case has been largely won in the Court of Appeals. That was a political case coordinated with the White House by the Attorney General, I assume is what you're talking about. And we won that case largely in the Court of Appeals.
The defamation case, the original.
That's a ridiculous case. That case is
See that clip of Donald Trump, the leader of the MAGA Republican Party. Compare that to President Biden. This made me very, very emotional. Here, President Biden makes a phone call to the parents of Kennedy Sanders, who sadly passed as a result of a horrific terrorist attack, a terrorist drone attack overseas. And President Biden talks about how he is posthumously making Kennedy Sanders a sergeant from her prior position of specialist. And just watch this. Watch how a real leader interacts here. Play this clip.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Sean, I wish I didn't have to make this call. I know, everybody, I know there's nothing anybody can say or do to ease the pain. I've been there.
Yes, sir, we understand.
I just want you to know that you're in my prayers, my heart. I know you don't want the press at the return of the body, but with your permission, I'd like to be there with you, if that's okay.
We would love for you to be there.
Well, and by the way, we're promoting her posthumously to sergeant.
Oh, wow, that is the best news I've heard today. Thank you so much. You don't know how much that means to us.
Oh, well, I tell you what, it means a lot to me. My son spent a year in Iraq, and so I lost him. And 1% of all these kids are the ones that really take care of 99% of us. Look, I really do know. I got one of those phone calls out of the blue and tell me my wife and daughter were dead when a tractor trailer hit them when I was a young senator, and then my son Bo, he lived near a burn pit in Baghdad. He came down with stage 4 glioblastoma, a brain tumor, and lost him too. But
yes, sir. We know that you can definitely feel our pain.
Well, unfortunately, I do. But I can tell you one other thing. You won't believe it now. And I hope I won't be angry when I say it. The day will come. The day will come when you walk by a park you used to play Kennedy played in, or you open a closet and you smell the fragrance of her clothing or something like that. And you'll smile before you cry. that's when you know you're going to make it. It takes a hell of a long time to get there. But I promise you'll get there. I know that is no consolation now. You know, and from what I understand, you're a close family and your twin brother also. Anyway, I wish there was something really intelligent I could say to change everything.
Well, I just thank you so much for your words of comfort, especially from a parent who's experienced it. And, you know, if you've made it through, I know that, you know, we can make it through as well. So I just appreciate your words.
It's powerful. Powerful, powerful, powerful. So look, I think Democrats are authentic. Their messaging is pro-democracy. And it's not just the messaging, it's the actual policy. Legislating isn't easy. It requires compromise. It requires being an adult, being a grown-up. And where these MAGA Republicans want to just whine about every issue, it's in the image of Donald Trump. Just complain, whine, blame. It ain't easy leading. It ain't easy leading, but that's where we all have to be discerning and we have to recognize who's stepping up. Who's acting like the adults in the room and who's acting like petulant babies? And it's these MAGA Republicans and the MAGA Republican Party built in the image of Donald Trump. It's just the constant whining and this loser mentality. It's a shame. It's a shame, but I think we all know what's going on. Now, that's why I wanted to show the clips. Here's what they're saying. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers. You can also check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Have a great day.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.